Okay.
Yeah. Pull the trigger. Oh.
Alrighty, today we're going to talk about this Servo GX IO-Extender. It's a new product in the Victron product line in the year of 2025, and it's going to allow you to add more relays and switches to your Victron setup. I'm using it to delete 3 physical switches for LED lights and put those in the software realm. So follow my journey here today.
Pull the trigger. That's good. All right, pull the trigger. Good stuff.
What type of glue? What type of glue,
The
Dad?
liquid electric tape. So, see these boards?
Yeah.
They'll sit on there. We can screw them in those holes. Or we can just use little zip ties. Zip tie a little loop around it.
What are we gonna do now?
No.
Why?
But we gotta put some paint on this and sand it. You can just like dab it like that. Make a cool little pattern. See that?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna flip it over. You can do the other side like that. Alright. Now just grab it and dab it on, okay? Go ahead. Over here. Dab it on there.
Like that?
Yeah. Okay, quick talk through of what we got going on here. So we have 12 volts coming out of the bench power supply connected to these leads, which go into this board on the input terminal. On the output terminal, we have positive and negative DC going to this LED, which is our proof of concept. Also on the back, we have a PWM out and a ground out. Make sure those aren't connecting. And those are going to signal and ground on the PWM board on our IO extender. And then if we come over here to our remote console, let's put our little light right there, and we turn that on, the light comes on. If we turn it off, the light goes off. So our switch has been digitized. And then if we turn this down, it gets dimmer. I'm going to turn off the LED lights in the box so we can see that better. Off, on. And then that's our dim function. Thank you to the kind strangers on the Victron subreddit for helping me understand that I need this part. I got 5 of these for like $8. On, off, dim. We can control this function. We can control this function from our Victron screen. On, off, dim. So you can dim while it's on or off. You can set the dim level. So this is all running on the GX IO-Extender 150, and we're using the WM port number 4. We have our signal wire in yellow and our ground wire in blue. Those are going to this board. You can see the ground and the signal on that side, and then you're in and out in red and black for positive and negative. So in's going to our battery bus bar, fused at 3 amps, and red's going to the light. So we've turned our light on. We can see a link light there in our state that's blue. And we don't see any LEDs on the board on. Let's put a little more power. So with the dimmer up, we get the blue LED. But if we turn that dimmer all the way down, that LED light goes to off. So the brighter the dim set, or the more power on the dim setting, the brighter the LED light is on this board. And you can get 5 of these on Amazon for about $8. I got a link to them in the on my page below. That is my GX IO-Extender 150, and next to it is the modules that control the dimming for the 4 LED light zones that are controlled by this. So those are PWM switches, and those come up here for control on the Servo GX. And one thing I've noticed is that in my front zone, if we're not on the max setting, the switches will start to hum. And I can't tell if that humming's coming from this control board or from this one. Let's see if we can isolate it to one light. All right, so we're going to turn that one off, that one off, that one off, put that one right at 50%. It's very faint. I can't tell if it's coming from that or from here. Let's unplug the inverter and see if we can hear it better. Okay, we've unplugged shore power. See if we can pick up that hum. Just a high-pitched hum. Even though the dog barking is kind of constant and much worse than this humming sound when the van's not in the driveway and we don't hear this dog barking, we can hear that hum. And I think it is coming from that part. I think it's coming from that board, not this. So yeah, I don't know how to fix that, because we want our dim function. So we want these to be dimmable without noise because they're too bright on full setting, and that's just the whole purpose of this switch, right? And we want the switch on the software level so that we don't have another physical switch. I'm not sure how we're going to fix this, and I'm not sure why it's only happening
in my front zone with my front red and my front white, but not in my back zone. So if you have thoughts on that, please put them in the comments below, and we'll continue working this problem over time.
All right, the other issue we have with the GX IO-Extender in its current configuration, where we have 4 PWM LED switches on it, is that when we're clicking back and forth between our switch pane and our other pane, we lose access to these. It's almost as if the Serbo GX runs out of graphical processing power, so it just prioritizes the inverter and the relay switch and then this switch, and we can turn the screen on and off, but that's it. Everything else goes away. So the way we fix this is with our remote console, and we reboot the Serbo GX. But before we do that, we turn all our loads off that we can turn off, and that keeps the BMS from having its own set of problems and not, otherwise it can throw an error where it basically the smart shunt disconnects and you're not getting power to the devices you want to get. So, and this isn't a permanent solution, it's just a temporary fix because the issue just comes back. So I don't know what the permanent solution is. It may require like actually different hardware or software that doesn't take as much of a graphical processing load. So let's do that. So we have the Starship unplugged from shore power. We will turn off all these DC loads that are currently on. And then we'll turn off these AC loads. I'm not going to pull fuses for any of these guys, so they'll just be what they're going to be. We'll turn off our main breaker, and now we'll go into our remote console and restart the Serbo GX. Everything's fine here, but we need to get on our console and reboot. So that's what we're going to go to. Settings, General, Reboot. So we'll reboot now. Click OK. Device has been rebooted. So now let's switch to our video view and watch the reboot process happen. Alright, so over here we can see our BMS has got some lights going on. These are our link lights on the Serbo. Orange flashing means Wi-Fi is disabled, so it's still going through its boot process. And this guy is powered from the BMS, but if memory serves, it's set up in a way that it gets power from the batteries even if this shunt disconnects. So this status is flashing solid green, so that's good. That's an indicator that this isn't disconnected, because that's what can happen if things go wrong. Is this the smart links shunt will disconnect and you won't get power from the batteries to all your devices and your inverter. So we can see some link lights coming on here. We can see we're in absorption on one of our solar charge controllers, and then we can see a Bluetooth light over here on the Serbo. So let's go to the GUI and see where that's at in its boot process. And this is looking good. We got our menus back. And we can go to the brief page. We can go to the boat page. We're at overviews. We can go to levels, see our 2 tank levels, our environment. We can see our 4 temperature switches, notifications, current notifications, and then settings. So that's everything working to spec on that side. We can get our lights on and off. Man, you can hear that one hum. And then there's our inverter. Relay switch open. We heard that pop. Closed. We'll close that up. We can hear that ball valve moving. Okay, so that is fixed. That's how it works when it works. This can go wrong, again, if you have a lot of loads connected to the system when you reboot. So disconnect as many loads as possible, ideally all of them, before you reboot, and then you're back to where you want to be. Alright, now that we are back to where we want to be, we are going to turn back on our main, and then we will leave refrigerator off because that's out of the van right now. We can put that back on. Starlink can stay off. Water pump can go on. Gray water heater, that can stay off for now. We're not in an area where it gets below freezing at night. And we'll turn the garage lights back on because we're still working back here. Alright, we're all good in the neighborhood again.
Alrighty, let's wind this video down. So we have done a lot today. We have captured the progress of installing a new Victron product and using that to delete 4 physical dimming switches and put those into the software level built into our existing Victron display. So no need for a new display for those 4 lights. And in doing so, we have discovered what works and doesn't work about that setup. What doesn't work is that some of the PWM modules hum in my front zone. 2 of them do, and that the screen will glitch out and I have to turn everything off and go through a reboot sequence to be able to access anything that's not on the switch system. In any case, that's all I got for you today. If this video was helpful, useful for you, please comment and subscribe. That really helps the channel. And the best way to help the channel is to click on the affiliate link and buy some stuff on Amazon. That really helps keep the doors open. In any case, thank you for watching, and we will see you around.